Hey, I'm Hannah. I'm a fourth year med student applying to Anesthesia, and this is the Bluebird Day School Week. So my fiance Dylan and I are really big into hiking, rock climbing, just really like to go out and explore. And I think partially thanks to COVID, we got just a little bit bored and we thought that buying a bus would be a fun idea. We spent a lot of time looking around. There's some government sites that have old school buses up for sale, and finally there was just one random day in February that Dylan said, "I found a school bus, do you want to go get it today?" So I got home from work that day and we drove 2 hours to a used car dealership and bought this lovely school bus.
Nice.
So thankfully, one of Dylan's coworkers at the time, her husband was a diesel mechanic who had his commercial driver's license. So we asked him to come down with us and paid him a little bit. He came down with us and he checked out the bus for us to make sure that it was okay. And we bought it on the spot and drove it home that day. So I was just in between my first and second years of med school. I think maybe sometime after step one was when we bought the bus, and we've been working on it ever since. Yeah, so I feel like a lot of it was dependent on what rotation I was in at the time. When we first got it, we were super eager to start the renovation. So those first few weekends, we just spent pretty much the entire weekend ripping out bus seats. Woo!
First seat out.
They were so rusted in that we had to weld them off, grind them off. So just weekends as I had them. I'm very lucky that my fiance Dylan only works a whole 3 days a week. So he's definitely had a lot of time during the weeks to contribute to it, which is super helpful. And then it's super fun project. So I feel like anytime I have free time, I had a lot of motivation to come and work on it.
I feel like I haven't met any med students with a bus.
Yeah, I feel like with any project, I think that throughout med school, I've put a really big emphasis on maintaining the hobbies that I came into med school with. The first one really being hiking. Since being in med school, I picked up rock climbing. And then getting this bus, they just kind of all aligned with things that I enjoyed doing. And I feel like it was a big reason that I enjoyed my third and fourth years and some of those really stressful times in med school. I feel like I was happier for having a project like this and maintaining my hobbies. So I would definitely advise doing it. I will say there have been times throughout this bus building project where we both said, let's just sell it, because it's a bus and things don't go perfectly, and it's been a lot of work, but it's been really fun and very rewarding, especially now. I think early on when we hadn't seen the rewards of having it done, it was easier to get frustrated with it. But now that we've been able to take it on these trips, have friends on it with us, see our dogs, enjoy all these open fields that we get to take it to, it's been something I would highly recommend. I think the most challenging part has probably been accepting that most things don't go as planned. I think that probably goes for any project, but especially in a bus. The ceilings are curved, it's not level, and it's just hard to get stuff, little things that would probably bother us in a house or we would want to redo before. We've just had to accept that maybe the ceiling does not touch the wall, and that's not really why we're building the bus, not to be perfect, but more to be able to go on these trips and enjoy it with friends and family and with each other. So I think just accepting the imperfections of it and looking at the bigger picture of why we wanted to do this in the first place. Yeah, so I think we actually joined this app called Harvest Toast, where you just pay a yearly fee and then you get to go to farms, breweries, and vineyards and stay on their property for free as long as you support the business in some way. So our really big first trip with the bus was to a farm down near Boone. And it was just a really special experience. We got to meet some new people. They were super personable. They came and picked us up on a four-wheeler. They gave us a whole personal tour of their farm.
Nice.
We were parked right on a river. our dogs were completely off leash the entire weekend, and we were able to just walk around the farm as we wanted to, pet the pigs, pet the sheep. It was just a blast, and they had hiking trails, so it was a lot of fun. Yeah, so this has been a running joke between Dylan and I. After being in this for, a few trips now, we've realized, hey, we could probably live in this thing. It's pretty spacious, our dogs love it. Our original plan was really just to have it to go on these long trips with for rock climbing, hiking, and just kind of explore new places, meet new people. But our running joke is that if I get residency in California, we will in fact be living in this bus.
Yeah, that's a good idea. What about New York? How would you?
Ooh, did not apply.
Oh, okay. So you don't have to worry about that.
Don't have to worry about that one. Yeah, so I chose to go into anesthesia. It was a little bit of a later decision just because I felt like I hadn't really experienced it that much. We have a few week rotation in it, but it doesn't feel like quite long enough to choose that as the thing you're going into the rest of your life, and I hadn't really had any exposure before that. But going through third year, I really enjoyed most of my rotations. I liked OB, I liked surgery, I really liked some of that hands-on stuff. I enjoyed peds. And so what I started to realize is that anesthesia really offers you kind of this opportunity to be involved a little bit in all of those different specialties. I would be working with them, and they'd have to learn all about the condition for the patient who's going to go under anesthesia and how that might affect their anesthetic and their management. So I just thought that was really cool. It kind of seems similar to some of my hobbies, like backpacking, or even being on a bus. You go out and you only have what's in your backpack or what's in the bus and what's right around you. And you kind of have to make those things work. You have to be able to adjust quickly and adapt, and I really like that part. I like that it's fast moving and you have some critical care for patients. And I feel like being able to enjoy my hobbies, I noticed pretty quickly when I was on the rotation that the attendings would want to talk to me about rock climbing if that was something we had in common, or they wanted to know about the bus, and it just seemed like a field that was really conducive to maintaining those hobbies, and I could see that in the attendings who are doing some of these same things that I like to do.
And then one last question is anesthesia in space. What do you think? Any possibilities?
Oh, you're our space expert here, Daniel.
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like just all of the space. I need to know more about it. I don't know if I can have a good answer for it yet, but it sounds cool.
You ready to do the tour?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
The only sassy thing I said was that Dylan only works 3 days a week.
All right, I am ready for the tour.
All right.
So take us from the start.
All right, so when you walk in, got a nice little shoe bucket here.
Nice.
So you're in the living room kitchen, pretty much the whole bus right now. So we've got a propane stove here, and then we've got some cabinets for silverware, pans, dog food storage. Our lovely retro mini fridge to fit the vibe.
Nice.
And then we've got a working sink over here. It's got a cutting board on top. Here's the living room. This is our lovely couch and guest bed. I can show you how it pulls out.
Sure.
So we've got an interlocking slat system. They're able to sleep here. And we've got a blow-up mattress for it too, but just allows us to share our adventures.
That's awesome.
So here's our folding table to save on space. So it goes down so we can have a dog bed or anything else here, and then clicks back up. This is the bathroom, not entirely finished yet, but we've got a toilet that's tiled all around it.
Nice.
And then walking back, this will eventually maybe be a small wood stove for heat. Right now we don't really need heat, so it's just some extra storage. We have an additional closet for storage. And then this is the dog bed and human bed back here.
Wow. Are we gonna meet the dogs?
Oh yeah, we're gonna meet the dog.
Yeah.
Very important.